Welcome back to LarryB YouTube channel. In today's class, we're going to be learning how to make this beautiful bow that we have here. Okay, we're going to be dropping this on the mannequin, and I'm going to be showing us the tricks on how we can sew it so that it will make the work easier. If this is something you like to learn, kindly stay tuned to the end of this tutorial. Thank you. So there are several ways you can actually make this. It depends on how creative you are. All these structured designs, you can just picture them and then make them anyhow you want. The goal is to achieve the result that you want, so you have to be very creative with it. I'm going to be working with draping methods to achieve this, and we're going to be draping it on a dress form. So to make it, you can drape it directly without doing this, but to make it easier, especially for beginners, that is why I want to gather a little bit of it, so that when we get to the dress form, it will just come together and make it easier for us to work with. So ideally, you should not work with anything less than a yard of fabric, a yard or 2 yards for each of your bow. But for this tutorial, this is a satin fabric, and this is all I have for the fabric. So you can see this is just around 14 inches. Okay, that's the total fabric that I'm working with for this. So if you're working with yours, please make it longer so that you have enough fabric to play around with, to pleat and drape, so that it will look fuller than what we may achieve with this. But we're going to do this and see what this 14 inches is going to give us. So now this fabric is by 60. The length of this fabric is 60, and the width is of course the 14 inches. So if you are going to be doubling this, especially if you are using fabric that is not so strong, you must have lined it. Okay, you must have used the fabric to turn each other. Let's say you want to work with 2 yards of fabric, you just need to fold it like this along the yard, and then you sew it so that you can turn it out. So you must have turned it out before you do these gathers. So after turning it and everything, I'm not turning mine, remember it's just 14 inches. Now I'm going to locate the midpoint by the length. Remember I said the length is 60 inches, so I'm folding it into 2 by the length. Now I hope you can see this. Okay, so I have folded this into 2 by the length, which means I have 30 inches here, 30 inches here. This fold point here is the midpoint, so I'll just mark it. Okay, I'm just going to use a ruler here so that we can see what I'm doing. That I can see the crease line. This part is actually not necessary. You can drape it on your fabric, on your mannequin, but this is going to make the work easier. So here I'm going to go ahead and run a gather stitch. So I'll just run tiny gathers here, which is going to form like the foundation for my pleats. Basically, let me tell you what we are doing. What we are doing is like forming drapes. Okay, this is one drapes from this center line here. So here now we're going to sew this center part together as well. So you can see how this drape is coming along like this to form this bow that we want. So you just decide, you just go ahead and drape around it. So you can see my fabric is very, very small. So assuming my fabric is small, I'll be able to drape it more. So now this is the center line. I'm going to gather it to just guide me on the drapes that I need to do. Okay, if you are doing it on a flat pattern, I'm just doing this so that we can understand what we are doing, especially for those that may not have a dress form. So now this is the center of the 30 inches. This is it like this. This part here, I'm going to go ahead and sew it and gather as well. So I just want to show as the drape is going to be, so you can see it's just going to be something like this. This part is going to be closed like that, and then you drape as much as possible depending on the amount of fabric that you have. So basically that's what we are doing. So I'll go to the sewing machine now and run a little bit of gathers here and drag it. Then after that, this open part, which is going to be the center line, I'm going to flip it on each other like this on the center, and then I'm going to sew it close. Okay, I'll sew it and run a gather stitch on it as well. So here I'm gathering here this center line, and then I'm going to fold it over here as well and then gather it. So after doing this, we'll go straight to the mannequin. So I have gone ahead to gather this center. Remember, this is the center part. You can see the chalk line, and then after that I folded it at that part that is going to be open in the middle here. Okay, for the drapes I folded it and then I sew it on gather. So I'm going to pick it and gather it a little bit as well. So this is how it's going to be standing on the mannequin. So to drape it, you see this center point, like this corner where the two seam meet, this part where the two seam meet, okay, after opening it like this, that corner here is what I'm going to be pinning on my shoulder, and then I'll start to drape around it just like this. So my fabric is very, very small, as you can see, so I'll just manage to do what I can do. So if you are not sewing, if you are not lining yours like mine like this, then it means, remember, this place has to be clean. You can either hem it like this, or you weave it round before you start to drape. So now what I'm going to do now is to draw gathers, just like I have done at this center part. I'm going to draw gathers here as well, so that it can, you like I said, you don't have to do it. You can just sew it and then start forming your drapes on the mannequin. But I just wanted to make this work easier for me. Okay, you can see these are the drapes I want to form, and then from here, okay, you just continue to just form your drapes around it like this, around it like this, and then everything is going to meet at this center point. You do the same thing for the other side. You form your drapes around it just like this. So if you have more fabric, of course, it's going to be bigger and fuller for you. So this is what we are doing. So we're on the mannequin now. So you choose the side that you're going to play. Remember, it is 2 bow, but you are just working with just 1 bow for this tutorial. So like I said, this corner where your 2 seams meet, that's going to be on your shoulder, which is here. So what I'm going to do is first pin this corner to the shoulder like this. Then after pinning it, you are going to slant it, this center part. You decide how you want it to be, so you can mark it out. Just imagine that this is the dress that you're working on, so you just mark out how you want it to go. So if it's like this now, you just bring this center part like this, and then you pin it down as well. Okay, so like I said, the gathers that I did is not compulsory, but you can see that the gathers that we did at this center point here is already giving us some form of drapes, so it will just make the work easier for you. That was why I decided to pleat it like that. So now what I'm going to do next now is to start to drape this. So like I said, this is 14 inches. It is very small, so just like you form pleats for gele, okay, something like that, that's what you're doing. I'm just trying to form our pleats like this, and then you channel it towards the midpoint, which is here. So I've gone for this one. I'm just going to hold it with my pin. Assuming I had enough fabrics, I'll be able to form more pleats. So when you're forming your pleats, just bear in mind that you won't form it flat like this. You make sure that you are giving it enough space, okay, enough room as you are going. If you finish the first pleat like this, when you are doing the next one, make sure that it is spreading, it's not flat. Okay, just give it enough space for you to also spread as much as you want before you pin it down. Okay, when I pin it down, I'm still going to arrange it better. I just want to pin it so that I can work on the other side as well. So after pinning this now, I'll go over to the other side and form whatever pleats that I want to form on that side as well, and then I'm going to pin it. So after this, I'll go ahead now and rearrange my pleats. So now to form the pleats so that I can tack it, to make sure it is as neat as possible. So now this is me trying to form like pleats on this part, and then if the part is to your dress, just like, remember, this side is going to be on the dress. The dress has like a yoke that you can tack it to, so I'm going to tack it directly to the dress. For this other side that is going to be free flowing like this, you just tack your pleats together, maybe from the back neatly, so that it can hold in place. I hope you understand that. So for this one now, I'm just trying to form my pleats. I wish this fabric was more, so I would have had something fuller. Okay, so this is what it looks like now. I'm just arranging it. So like I said, you arrange it. Mine is going to be scanty because of course the fabric is small. So if you are using a bigger fabric, you get something fuller. So now after arranging it to whatever you want, you form your pleats. I was able to form just 2 or 3 pleats. I just decided to ruffle this place. You can see that it is standing freely on its own. I've not even tagged this. Okay, you can see this part. So now you tag this to your main dress, and this part that does not have a dress underneath them, you just find a way to just tag them underneath like this. You can see where it's not going to show. You tack it neatly and then arrange it. This is totally depend on how creative you are. So one is going to come like this and the other one is going to come like that. So now it's better you chalk the direction so that by the time you finish doing one, you're not going to run into issues when you want to create the other plate. So now this part that you have here, you can cover this area with trimmings. You can wrap this area just like this and then pin it down. You can do whatever it is you want. Remember that another one just come like this, and that is all you need to do. So like I said, there are several ways you can do it, but this is one of the simplest ways, and you can see that we achieved something this beautiful even with a little fabric. So I hope you enjoyed making this beautiful tutorial with me. If you enjoyed it, let us know in the comment section. Like, comment and subscribe to our channel, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.